Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back. So, we are on part 4 of our making every character that's missing into a FNAF plush. And I'm so excited to this episode because we are doing FNAF 4. This is the last of the original 4 games, which is crazy. We've already gotten so far. But today we got FNAF 4, and thankfully, I have a shorter list than I would have if Xmart didn't come to my rescue yet again. So they made Nightmare Chica, Nightmare, and Nightmare Fredbear, which is 3 characters I don't have to make anymore. And then Jazzwares made Nightmare, which is also another character I don't have to make anymore, which I'm super glad makes my job a lot easier. And if you guys want to get picky about it, Xmart is also coming out with a Nightmare plush, so there's that. Because I know some people are like, oh, well, Xmart and Funko look completely different. They don't really mesh well together. I would disagree, but yeah, so there's your Nightmare plush. We don't have to make that. But regardless, the character selection this episode is quite large. There's 7 characters that we need to make today, that being Plush Trap, Nightmare BB, Nightmare Mangle, the 3 Freddles, and Jacko Chica's Pumpkin. So we got 7 characters, which should be pretty easy. A little bit of a challenge here and there, but I think we got this, guys. We've done worse before, I think, with the endos. I mean, this is going to be a pretty interesting video, so I highly recommend you guys stick around to the very end and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We just hit 70,000 subscribers, which is awesome. Let's try to get to 100k, but without further ado, let's get to our first character. So for our first character, we got Plush Trap, and I'm very surprised that Plush Trap doesn't have a plush yet, because he's the easiest out of all the characters in FNAF 4 to turn into a plush. Like, he has a very simple design, and I mean, I feel like it could be easily translated into a plush, but I mean, I don't know, maybe Funko just got lazy, which I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, we got Plush Trap, and here is what I came up with. So here we got Plush Trap, and I think he looks awesome. He is a small guy. His body is like the same size as Helpy's body, but with the arms that are inspired by Theodore, so they're nice and floppy. They're not fully attached to the body, which I think makes him look more like a ragdoll, which is very cool. He is a lot smaller, so here he is compared to a normal FNAF plush. Not a lot smaller, but he is like relatively smaller. His ears are floppy. I wanted Plush Trap's ears to be floppy, unlike Shadow Bonnie's, which, you know, was its own mistake in the other video. But yeah, his ears are nice and floppy. I did do some like quilting, I guess you could call it, to section off the pieces of the ear, which I think looks cool, and it kind of gives it like this like bend. Like when they flop forward, they do bend a little, which I think is a very nice detail. He basically just uses the spring trap pattern for the head, but modified for the to include the teeth, and I think it looks very, very nice. Not much to say about Plush Trap. Like I said, he has a very easy design to translate. But yeah, let's move on to the next character. So for our next character, we got Nightmare Balloon Boy, and again, the Balloon Boys always give me a hard time because of the printing and all the stripes. But you know, Brooke came in clutch again and gave me a pattern for Nightmare BB. I commissioned them to print the red and purple stripes for me, and they did just like they did with JJ, and they were such a huge help in this design process. So again, go follow them on Instagram. They're a great creator. But yeah, here is Nightmare BB. So here is Nightmare Balloon Boy, and I think he looks awesome. His head is a lot bigger than a normal Balloon Boy plush, but I did that intentionally because Nightmare Balloon Boy has a huge head compared to the regular Balloon Boy. But yeah, I basically just modified BB's pattern to include the teeth. I could have done it a little better in my opinion, but I think it looked good nonetheless. The printing obviously looks great. Thank you, Brooke. He's got the little details on his face. He's got the cheeks, the nose, all that going on. The body is the most interesting part, well, the hand specifically, because Nightmare BB is known for those long fingers, so I wanted to make a good pronounced hand. So I did this little method where I just got a piece of thread and kind of looped it around the hand so it would give like pronounced fingers, and I think it looks great. It gives a good variation from the other Balloon Boys, which is what I wanted. But the rest of the body is basically the same from a normal Balloon Boy plush, so nothing too different there. I think the printing looks great. Thank you so much, Brooke, again for helping me with that. But with that being said, let's move on to the next character. For our next character, or should I say characters, we're gonna go even smaller than Plush Trap, and we got the Freddles. The Freddles are tiny little Nightmare Freddies, and I wanted them to be very unique in their own way, if that makes sense. I was just gonna make one Freddle, but I didn't want to be lazy and just cop out, so I made all three, and I made them really tiny, which is very, very funny. You guys will see right now in a bit what they look like, but I made them extremely small, which was kind of a challenge, kind of not, just because the pattern was incredibly small compared to the normal FNAF plushies, but I think it turned out great, so here they are. So here we have the Freddles, and they look awesome, but look how small they are compared to a normal FNAF plush. They are tiny. Like, I wouldn't say extremely tiny, but they are relatively smaller. Like, you can definitely tell there is a size difference between a regular FNAF plush and a Freddle, you know? But that's what I wanted. I wanted them to be tiny and cute and, like, just hold, like, you can literally hold them in your hand and put them in your pocket, which I think is super funny. But yeah, here's the three Freddles. They all have their unique design on their face. This one obviously has withering on the mouth, or like on the muzzle part of it. This one has one on the forehead and the side of the mouth, and this one just has it over the eye. So I did do the unique withering, just so there can be some variation between all of them. And they also have some withering patterns on their bodies that are unique to their specific design. And I just love these guys. They look so adorable. Like, they're cute. And then when you compare them to Plush Trap, we have 3 different sizes of plush right here, which is incredible. Like, you can see they literally just go whoop, which is so funny. I love how I made the Freddles, and I would make them again just so I can have an army of Freddles, but you know, there are only 3. Who knows if we make more in the future? But yeah, there are the Freddles. Not much to say. You know, big things come in small packages, I guess, right? I love them. Let me know what you guys think of these guys in the comment section down below. Next up, we got a character that honestly kind of intimidated me because it's Nightmare Mangle. And if you just look at this character model, yeah, it's going to be a bit hard to translate that into a plush. Last episode we did Phantom Mangle, and we literally just recolored Funko's Mangle, but we're not going to do that this episode. We're going to go a little adventurous, a little bit risky, and we're going to do our very own design. So it took me a while, but here is Nightmare Mangle. So here is Nightmare Mangle, and this character is insane. Like, the plush is crazy. It is a bit like odd to look at, but let's break it down. So the head is just a Nightmare Foxy pattern. It's very, very simple. You know, that part was the only easy part, but I think it looks great. Obviously the recolor is just white and pink. I love the pink and the whites. Like, it just looks, I think it looks awesome. The eyes are based off of Xmark Global's Nightmare collection, so they do look a bit different than the normal Nightmares that Funko made, but I think they look a lot better. And then she's also got the missing eye, which is awesome, and a Bonnie nose, because again, I couldn't find a Foxy nose. The body is very, very similar to an Endo plush, but of course this part dips in a lot more, and it has a tiny little waist, which I think is funny because it has such a big body, and you can tell that it's having a hard time like not flopping over. It has the 3 legs that don't really give him that much support, but I mean, you know, it's fine. I think Mangle looks fine. He's also got the arms right here with the little hand. Then I put some claws on just for some detail. I think it looks so good. And of course the Endo head that I based off of Bon Bon, just because I wanted to be consistent with the tiny little like additional characters. So if I would have made a Nightmare Mangle or a Phantom Mangle in this sort of style, it would have kind of resembled this, but I wanted Nightmare Mangle to be very unique. But nonetheless, here they are, the 2 Mangles side by side. You can definitely tell that there is a big difference, but I think Nightmare Mangle looks awesome, and I'm so proud of this one. Let me know which design you guys like better. Do you guys like the more accurate game design, or do you like the Funko design? Honestly, I gotta go with the accurate game design because I think it looks great. But there's Nightmare Mangle. Not much else to say. I really like it. Let's move on. So last but definitely the least of this whole video is Jacko Chica's pumpkin. And you know, I had such a hard time making this character. It was the most difficult character I've ever made yet. You guys will see how complex and how insane this is. I don't even have any words. Let's just see what this plush ended up looking like. So here he is, and of course I made this, guys. I definitely didn't buy it at a store. No, I made this. It's Jacko Chica's pumpkin, clearly, guys. Like, even the stem is the right color. this is definitely brown. You know, the details, it took me so long to do all this detail, you know. I think it looks great. I did such a good job. Ignore that. I even added, you know what? I even added a tag for, you know, realistic value. I totally made this, definitely made this. So don't question it at all. But let's just put this character that I totally made and the other characters with the rest of the nightmares. Let's go see how they all look together, including this character that I made, obviously. So here they all are in their nightmarish glory. We got the Halloween DLC, including the character that I so very clearly made. Duh. Don't fight me on it, because I made that, obviously. We got Fredbear and Spring Bonnie back there. We got the original Nightmares, Plush Trap, the Freddles, the Chica's Cupcake. We got Nightmare Chica, Nightmare, and Nightmare Fredbear, all made by Xmart. I think they all look so good together. They all are very different, to be honest. Like, Nightmare Bonnie is different from Nightmare Chica, and Nightmare Freddy is different from Nightmare Beyond. Like, they all look different and unique in their own ways. They all look so good together, though, like in unison. I think they look awesome. I'm so proud of this collection. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. My favorite this episode has to be the Freddles. I think they look awesome together. But let me know, who's your guys' favorite out of all these guys? It's got to be the pumpkin, right? Because I clearly made that and it took me so long. Your guys' favorite character has to be the pumpkin. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.